Hi, I'm Kim Ellis, and welcome back to my channel. I want to give you 5 tips if you're struggling to stay productive as an artist. So come along and join me. So today I want to ask you, are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you trying to balance your creative work with everything else that life throws at you? Trust me, I've been there. I write, I'm a YouTuber, I illustrate, I homeschool, I run a business. And I'm basically a busy mom, and life throws a lot at me. And recently, I won't go into all the details per se, maybe in another video I can share some stuff, but I've had some issues with taking care of family, and I'm happy to say that a lot of it is getting resolved, but it's taken up a lot of my energy, my time, my emotions. But over the years, I've found some strategies on ways to stay productive. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some top tips to help you stay organized, focused, and creative, even when it feels overwhelming. So I'll share tip number 1, but I want you guys to stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to share a bonus tip that changed the game for me. So stick around. So tip number 1 is to plan ahead. My last book on Young Korea took me a little longer for this book. I had some other issues, but also I had the learning curve of Procreate. So give or take about 2 years was the time frame from start of writing on Young Korea and having the published book in my hands. The goal for this next book is to have it out but ready to be published in 6 months. And me of several years ago might have a meltdown and go, oh my gosh, I'm going to freak out. But I have a plan, and because I'm working with a different author, my plan, it's written and it's communicated with her. But when life threw a major curveball at me this last month, and I mean major, again I'll share later, I was down but I wasn't out. So the good thing about that is I was able to say, okay, I need to revise my timeline, but guess what? Because I had planned it out in a planner, I already knew that my timeline can still exist in 6 months. I just had to push it back about 2 to 3 weeks, which was basically the time that I lost because of my family emergency. So it didn't knock me down, and I can still get up and say, hey, this is going to happen. It doesn't have to overwhelm me. And so that's my first tip, is to have a plan. Planning is a really important thing to get things done, and it also helps you to know what progress you're making. So one thing that I do is I make notes, and just on my Google phone. There's the little yellow with the little yellow top, and it's like a little notepad, and I use that. And I make lots of notes. It's a lot of fun. And for those people who are pen and paper people, just go ahead and get a notepad. I have different ones. I have several. Probably be easier if it's one, but like I have one for YouTube, for my YouTube schedule and when I'm going to post and my ideas and things like that. I also have one for my business. So there's a lot of different things that I do to get my ideas out, so they're not sticking around in my head at 2 a.m. in the morning. I write them down, and then I can condense them and consolidate them and really see, what do I need to do? So what do I need to do daily? What do I need to do weekly, monthly, and things like that? All right, so tip number 2 has been really life-saving. It's called time blocking. Time blocking is basically essentially dividing your day into chunks and dedicating each chunk to a task or specific type of work. For me, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I do workouts. I know if it's a Sunday night and I'm going to bed, I know when I get up in the morning, I'm going to be working out. And that's really exciting on Tuesday when I know which is a Tuesday today that I'm filming on, I didn't have to work out. And I enjoy working out, but also I like to have a little breather room in the morning, and I can just get up and take my shower, and I read my Bible, and I eat breakfast, and so it's not as rushed. In the morning, I also have homeschooling. For my son, who's 8 years old, and he's in 3rd grade, he still needs assistance with quite a lot of his subjects. So what happens in the afternoon? Usually in the afternoon, I do reserve that for creative time. For some reason, after lunch, that's when I get a little bit more energy. Everybody's doing their own thing and I can prepare. So I might take that time to write, to illustrate children's books, to make a YouTube video, although I'm doing this in the morning. And basically evenings are for family. And I try as a creative person to reserve that time. There are some times that I'll do artwork in the evening, but usually I do want to wind down at some time. And as a business person, if you own your own business, you know it's almost like 24/7 at times. You have to give yourself that time off. You have to say, look, this time block is not for anything else. If you have clear boundaries, you don't feel scattered. And that's helpful just to relax, because at the end of the night, I like my hot cup of tea and I like my K-dramas and I like to spend time with my kids and my husband. Okay, so tip number 3 is kind of similar to time blocking, but it's called batch working. So if you never tried it, you're missing out. So instead of switching between tasks all day, like sketching or writing or doing emails, I focus on one type of work at a time. So I might start with one email and I won't get up and go do something else because I can squirrel. If you're creative, it's probably something that a lot of you guys do, is it's easy to squirrel. And I know if you put your phone on airplane mode while you're doing something and you've got your laptop, you won't hear those pings. It's very helpful to make sure that you can focus on those emails and dedicate that time to them. So on that, I try to just stay there until I get the work that I need to get done. So the same thing with brainstorming characters. I'm going to just focus on doing that. Now I can kind of get a squirrel as I'm looking at Pinterest or Google searching something that I need. But for the most part, I know in my brain, my batch work is characters. I'm focusing on making the characters for the next book. As I'm working on YouTube videos, for example, I have certain days of the week, like I said, I have carved out. So Monday is usually my finishing touches for my editing, making sure my music is there, making sure my descriptions, everything that I need to have is done. So I know on a Friday, I can take off, and my kids and I, well, they're homeschooled, so they have a little bit more of a flexible schedule. Actually, it's Thursday. We might go, you guys want to go shopping? So we'll go shopping, we'll eat somewhere, we'll just have some family time together. And we're way behind because I know it's like 30 something days until Christmas, so I don't think many of us have bought Christmas presents, so we'll be doing our shopping soon. And the good thing about that for me is knowing that I have my YouTube video that I have recorded for you guys on a Tuesday. Hopefully I can get to some editing on Wednesday, or then I can relax on Thursday and go hang out. And I won't have that deadline looming over my head because I've batch worked it. I've put it together. And I will be making a video for you guys, or a series of videos, God willing, for January to start, because a lot of you guys have asked me, how do you make a book? How do you publish a book? What's the whole process, Kim? Walk me through it. And maybe in the future I will have some coaching for you. I haven't gotten into that yet. I had an event at the library and I had so many people come and talk to me and say, thank you for writing this book. And I want you guys, most people have some book inside of them. A lot of people do. I want to help other people to get their words onto paper, their artwork onto paper, and to get it out into the world. Okay, so tip number 4 is take breaks. I know with my family emergency that I've had recently, I haven't had a lot of breaks, but I've tried to make sure that I do put rest time in there. I was doing some organization and I could have kept going. I'm a minimalist per se. Minimalisty, is that a word? And I like to have things very minimal, but we're rearranging some things in the house right now, and I can just keep working and working and working, but you need to take breaks to recharge. It's so important because, again, like I've shared so many times, if you burn yourself out, there's only one of you. No one else can recharge your battery but you. Breaks are essential for long-term productivity. And so that's what I'm encouraging you to do, because when you give your brain some time to relax, when you give your body some time to relax, you can usually come back full steam ahead. again, I talked about K-dramas, but there's lots of ways without screens to recharge. I'm looking right outside my window, and it's November, but I have these beautiful flowers. I'll have to get a shot of them. They're still blooming, these beautiful orange flowers. They're wildflowers. There's a pack of seeds of wildflowers, and they're still blooming, and they bring so much peace. And there are stats on it. Once you see nature, you take a walk in nature, you just sit by a window. You can go outside if walking's not your thing. Just go outside in your yard or on your porch and just relax, get some fresh air. And a lot of times that can reframe and help us to have a different perspective. So I encourage you to take time to recharge. Don't live life, especially as a creative person, don't live life burnt out. Take some time. So tip number 5 is don't give up. I will share a little short story, hopefully, about my journey with YouTube. I haven't been on YouTube for a very long time. I just started in May, and I basically did 4 videos, and then I had a scary health diagnosis, or a possibility, where I had to have an MRI and all kinds of stuff. And if you've had an MRI, they can be kind of scary. So I was gone for about a month off of YouTube. I just couldn't pull myself together to get YouTube done. I was just, as Anne of Green Gables said, I was in the depths of despair for a while, and understandably so. I'd put 4 videos in, I'd started my channel, and I'd posted about it, I'd gotten excited about it, so I came back. When I had this family emergency, there was no way I could post. So there were 2 weeks that went by and I didn't post. And it was another opportunity, unfortunately, to give up. And I'm not going to say like I'm a quitter, but a lot of times I go big or I go home. So I'm like, I'm going to do this. And then I'm like, oh, forget it. What am I doing? I get disappointed in myself, and I'm sure that happens to you, especially if you're a creative person, you're an artist, you're a writer. A lot of times we can be so hard on ourselves. And I looked back at my videos, and I had done 17 videos. And I know for people who've been on YouTube for a long time, that doesn't sound like a lot at all. But for me, that was a win. I was watching a couple YouTubers, and they're like, don't overthink it. And I think that can be our problem, especially, I'm going to say the word creative 5 million times in this video, but if you're a creative person, you think. You have all these thought bubbles in your head, and they're all over the place. And eventually, sometimes you can feel overwhelmed. But I want to share with you the process that I take as an artist, so that if you're an author, illustrator, you can walk along with me and you can see, hopefully more ups and downs, but we'll see as a book is born. Once you create a book, you're not done. There's promotion, there's getting other people excited about the message that you have in your book. So, and that takes some work too, and I can share the things that I've learned. What's my bonus tip? Is to build a routine that works for you. Everyone's schedule and energy levels are different. In the morning, I'm really good at cleaning in the morning. I could be in my kitchen scrubbing things for quite a while because I have that hustle and bustle energy in the morning, something that's really mindless. My creativity doesn't seem to kick in until after lunch. I don't know if it's a food thing. My creative time is 2 to 6, and if I can carve that time out and be working and sitting at my desk at 2 o'clock, I usually can get a whole lot of things done. If I try to do that same thing at 10 in the morning, I keep wanting to get up from my desk and squirreling. I have found the right routine that works for me, and I know for you that might be completely different. Maybe you're a 6 a.m. in the morning and you get so much done between 6 and 12, and that's awesome. And you don't want to be counterproductive. You don't want to be counterintuitive to what your natural rhythm is. You want to find the routine that works best for you. Coming up in the next month of December, I'm going to have quite a lot of painting tutorials because there's a lot of fun things to paint for Christmas time. So thank you for joining me. And if you haven't hit the button to like or subscribe, please do that. That helps the channel a lot. And please share please share these tips and also share with me what has worked for you. I want to build a community here where other creative people can come and share what helps them. And if it's a great tip, I will make it into a YouTube video. So awesome. Thanks so much. I will see you next week. Bye.